Tell me something. No, really. Lean closer. Because this question, it ruins relationships. It starts wars. It writes entire novels. And nobody ever answers it honestly. If someone thought about you every hour, every minute, every quiet moment between breaths, if someone memorized the rhythm of your voice, the way your eyes shift when you lie, and the exact second your smile becomes fake, would you call that love or obsession? Because people like to pretend that these two things are different species, different monsters. But if you look close enough, they share the same bones. People talk about love like it's gentle, soft, like it's some kind of emotional weighted blanket that you wrap around yourself when life gets hard. They write greeting cards about it, they put it on mugs, they make it sound domesticated. But love, real love, has never been tame. Real love is feral. It claws, it consumes attention, it rewires your brain. And devotion? Devotion is what happens when love refuses to calm down. Devotion studies you. It listens when you're not speaking. It notices when your breathing changes. Devotion remembers things about you that you told it once, 6 months ago, in the middle of a random conversation. Things you assumed nobody cared enough to keep. But devotion kept them, because devotion plays well. The moment that love becomes intense, people panic. They reach for a label like it's holy water. Obsessed. They spit the word out like it's contagious. Like the person who loves too intensely must be dangerous. And sometimes they're right. But here's the interesting part. People don't call someone obsessed when they ignore you. They don't call someone obsessed when they forgot your birthday. And they don't call someone obsessed when they barely know anything about you. No, they call someone obsessed when that person notices too much, remembers too much, and cares too much. Too loudly. Which raises a very uncomfortable question. Is obsession dangerous? Or is it just inconvenient for people who don't want to be understood? Now, let's be clear about something before the comment section explodes. Obsession does exist, and obsession is not romantic. Not really. Obsession does not love you. Obsession loves having you. There's a difference. A massive one. Obsession doesn't care about your happiness. Obsession doesn't care about your freedom. Obsession cares about ownership. It's the emotional equivalent of locking something in a box so no one else can touch it. Obsession doesn't ask who you are. It decides who you're allowed to be. And if you try to escape, if you try to leave, if you try to grow, if you try to become something outside the version it built in its head, well, that's when obsession shows its teeth. And that's when love becomes a cage. But devotion? Devotion is terrifying in an entirely different way, because devotion doesn't control you. Devotion sees you. Every flaw, every contradiction, every broken little piece you try to hide. Devotion knows the thing you're ashamed of. And it stays anyways. Not because it needs you, but because it chose you again and again and again. Even when loving you is complicated, even when you're difficult, and even when you push away, devotion isn't blind. It just decides you're worth the trouble. Now, let's talk about something that people love to pretend that they don't understand. Dark romance, morally gray lovers, villains who love too intensely. The character everyone claims are problematic, but secretly read about at 3 a.m. Why are those stories so popular? Why do people keep falling for characters who are possessive, dangerous, and obsessive? Because those characters represent something that most people secretly crave. To be seen. Completely. To matter so much to someone that the entire world fades into background noise. To be unforgettable, to be irreplaceable, to be chosen in a way that feels absolute. Healthy relationships are peaceful, but absolute love is dramatic, and humans are addicted to drama. So, here it is, the real difference between obsession and devotion. The line people keep pretending they can't see. Obsession says, "You belong to me." Devotion says, "You are free, and I still choose you." Obsession tightens its grip. Devotion opens its hands. Obsession fears losing you. Devotion trusts that if you stay, it's because you want to. And if you leave, devotion mourns. But it doesn't destroy you for it. Because love that needs a cage was never love to begin with. Here's the secret that nobody ever tells you. Devotion and obsession are not strangers. They're neighbors. And sometimes when love gets intense enough, they start to look dangerously similar. Because when someone truly loves you, they notice everything. They remember everything. They think about you constantly. They care too much, too loud, and too deep. And from the outside, that kind of love always looks a little unhinged. So, let me ask you one last question before we close the book tonight. If someone knew every shadow inside you, if they understood your worst thoughts, your darkest habits, and the parts of you that you hide from the world, and they stayed, not to control you, not to cage you, but simply because they chose you every day, would that be obsession or devotion? And more importantly, would you be brave enough to tell the difference? If you enjoy dark romance, psychology, morally great characters, and dangerous love stories, then welcome to the Midnight Library. Subscribe because next time we're opening a very dangerous book, and trust me, you're going to like the villain.